Good morning, this is Judy from Artistic Artifacts in Alexandria, Virginia for our live. So, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We truly appreciate that you are here. And I have a lot to cover and where to start first. So what I think I'll start is we received a really great, nice phone call from Scott, president of Jaftex, who creates and owns a lot of fabric lines, a very, very important business in this industry. And he called us to congratulate us in taking 3rd place in his shop tour. So over the last couple of years in August, Scott has challenged quilt stores to do a store tour. Now, he wants you to stay at 10 minutes. He wants to keep it short for everybody to get a taste of the stores and what the options are all over the country and probably all over the world. There may have been Canada and other countries in there too. So we have participated for a couple of years, and this year we came in 3rd. Thank you very much. And many, many people shared our video. And that is where the traction comes in. Comments and sharing really help us. So Scott called to congratulate us. I missed the call. I'm so sorry. So here's my shout out for Scott. Thank you. Keep doing the challenge. It's awesome. We love it. And more and more quilt owners will get the hang of it. Now, really it is important to do a challenge. I don't know. I'm going to date myself here. I can remember when I traveled, even thought of having a business in this industry. This was not on my radar. So I would go and I would travel, and we'd go see family, we'd go do this, and the first thing I did was I ran for the phone book. Okay, a lot of you guys don't know what that is anymore, but it was big. It was thin paper, and the yellow pages had businesses. So I was looking for thrift stores, bead stores, fabric stores, antique stores, and I would make my list of what I wanted to do. And it was revolved around that. So we don't have phone books anymore. So what we have is the internet. And now we actually even have the opportunity to give you a full color advertisement visit to our business. And we take in social media on Facebook and Instagram, and we take that very seriously. Now you've seen Chris up here. She's done some Facebook Lives with and without me. And she is our social media guru, princess, queen. And to have a designated person is a really gift for me. So it's made us be able to reach you. So Scott, thank you. Please keep it up. So that was the first thing that was most important. Now, the next thing is I had a great vacation. So it was, and I left before my vacation. I said, okay, we're going to come back and still work with these crazy 8 templates. And the challenge was to do something that was a little bit more what I consider traditional crazy quilting. And this is just my opinion. So I thought of silks, fancy fabrics, maybe some velvets, and those are what I considered traditional. Well, let me tell you, I had a hard time. This was not an easy assignment for me. Did anybody else try it out there? Do you have anything to post on Share on Saturday that has to do with crazy quilting? We would like you to post your pieces of work that maybe you've done that are crazy quilt oriented, and you can do that on Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds, and we will call it crazy quilting. So what I did was, we have lots of scrap bags. I'm pretty much queen of scrap bags. So we have Indian fabric, we have vintage fabric, we have some silks, we have Indian block printed fabrics, but I picked these 2. So this is a bag of miscellaneous silks, and this is a bag of kind of Asian brocade jacquards in here. And these are both online. They are, you know, we take as much as we can, and when the bags sell out, they sell out. We have to start over. So, this one is all of these guys, and this one was these. And there's some dupionis in here, but there's some other non-dupionis, some silk and things. So what I did was I cut them, and I was trying to be fast, which is not always the best way to do things. So, and I knew better, but I just kept going. So I have a mixture of these Asian fabrics, some dupioni, and those are pretty much heavy enough to hold on their own. That, if I had just used those, I would have done okay. Here's a brocade. But then I threw in some sewing garment fabrics. So these are, they have just much more body. They're not very stiff. This brown piece, it's got some bias to it. And I just sewed the fabric. So they're slippery, guys. They move around. This was not the way to do it. So what I found, and this was very scrappy. So I just was using pieces. I was doing it like just the next one came. I didn't edit the color, the pattern, anything. It was considered a silk scrap quilt. So I came into, this one's not horrible, but you know, again, I have this silky stuff here, and this was tough, and it slid out of the way, and you can see my seam is not all that great. So I'm like, okay, all right, these are looking pretty bad. So I thought, okay, I need to do what I should have done at the beginning, was I should have backed these silks. These silks that are not, do not have enough body in them should all be backed with this French fuse type stuff, or a knit fusible interfacing. We do have it online. It is found in garment stores, but ideally what you do, see, here's a really great piece of silk, but you're going to back it before you cut your pieces. And this just makes the whole process easier. So, that being said, if any of you have seen my batik panel book, I do have a piece that I did with silk border, which I guess is called piano keys, this way. And this is a very lightweight silk. We sell it in bundles, so these are from saris, so vintage saris. It's not new silk, it's recycled, upcycled silk in these fat quarter-ish packages. And we do have these on our website as well, and it's miscellaneous mixed colors. So those were all very lightweight. Let me see if I can show you. So this is sari. So this, I would still back this, and it would behave the way I wanted to, okay? And these are great, great products. Again, it helps that we're upcycling. All these recycled saris, we're also buying from India, and that is helpful as well. So those were the silks that I would really recommend, and I absolutely would say back them before you start. It's going to give a better seam, better body, and the fabric's going to behave so much nicer than what it did. So let me, and these packs, you know, really have some decent size. They're certainly not going to be a half a yard, and they're not going to, you know, but they're some decent size. And I love the idea of this sari pack, because you can actually interface these as well, or actually lay them over already pieced. But this is our sari silk package that we have going. All right, so Scrappy. So I thought, okay, I did Scrappy, it didn't work out so well. So let's try non-scrappy. So I actually had a plan. Anybody who knows me knows plans don't come very easily. So what I did was went through my silk box that I have at home, and I planned. And I planned not to use anything really thin that needed to be interfaced, because this one I struggled, and so late last night I was working on it. But I'm kind of happy with this one. I like the idea. And when I started making these blocks, this whole idea of this star hit me like in the, whacked me over the side of the head. So this is Crazier 8 pack, which is down here. This one. That one seems to be the one I'm using the most, even though, I have claimed all 3 sets of rulers. That one seems to be it. So, much better, right? My seams are way better. The stability of it is great. And we'll show you the back even. And one of the things for new quilters, I didn't know this because I didn't take a quilting class. I had a friend who showed me about pressing and seams. So if you can see this seam here, so when I did this piece, this one, and then I sewed this one. And to assemble them, I put this seam folded that way and this seam folded the other way, so you can see they butt up. So it's not one big chunky piece of fabric in this center section, because I learned to face the seams in the opposite direction. So it's definitely a good thing to do, and that works only if you're pressing as you're sewing. And I press. And my ironing table is in another room, so I have to get up and go in the other room, which again helps me not get tired when I'm sewing. So those are a couple of things that I find really helpful when I am sewing my blocks. All right, any questions so far? Everybody okay? All right. That was, and I didn't try any velvet because I was having enough time struggling with the silk, because I just wasn't doing what I knew I needed to do. I didn't try velvet, so I'll try velvet again. We may be revisiting this. For those of you who haven't seen the previous Facebook Lives recorded, these were some other blocks that I did using cottons. So, cotton is very forgiving. So these are Indonesian batiks and printed fabrics from there, and then I just used, these are the batiks here. So I've trimmed these up, and I'm not sure what they're gonna morph into, but they're definitely, I'm thinking about how I'm gonna do it. Now, trimming up, which again, anybody who's known me since the beginning of my quilting life will just laugh hysterically that I'm actually trimming something. But we talk about these rulers, and it's a stripology ruler. And again, I was not a big fan of rulers, but I'm slowly coming around to see how well they are. And I used to have this whole set of squares, 6.5 square, 8.5 square, 10.5 square, so that would be my block size. Well, these have cuts in them. So literally, using this revolving piece here, I can cut very quickly. So I can stack more than one on here. I line them up very carefully. And then my 0 line is here, and my 8 is here. And so I can make, it's not 8.5, but I don't necessarily use patterns to assemble blocks. So I'm trim here and here, and then I turn this, oops, ouch. And then I cut this and this. Well, let me tell you, that is really fast to do. So I think there's 3 sizes of this ruler. And I have the small and I have this squared one, and then there's an extra large, which is great for cutting fabrics when it's off the bolt in yardage, which I'm getting one of those today. So I now have all three, and I do not have to worry about all those little squares and rulers that we have. So this is really a quick way to do this. Like it a lot. All right, give me a minute. I've just destroyed my display. So, no, those book things don't work. All right. So now, again, talking what I traditionally consider crazy quilt is working with different types of threads. Now, a lot of people, I think, use hand stitching as part of that process of creating a crazy quilt. And in theory, I thought I would do that as well. Chris has some great on her Christmas stocking that we will be using to raise money for charity. She works with these Dazzle, but she used machine stitching and hand stitching, or was it all hand? All hand. Sorry, all hand stitching. So it's wonderful, it's bright, it's got some real bling to it, and it makes a great stocking, and the hand stitching worked very well. What needle did you use? Chenille's, yeah, chenille tulips. So, and that worked, so she did really well with the hand stitching on that. All right, so, and we have kits on these. These are all these Dazzles, so these are really nice. And you can use them in your machine. You can use them in the top, thread it through your machine, and they work really nicely.
One doesn't, it's an 8-way.
One is an 8? Oh, 8 is only a hand stitching one, or a couching. So
the Dazzle is 8.
Dazzle is 8?
Mm-hmm.
What's the one?
Glamour.
Sorry. Glamour's the one that runs through. And we have them sold by the individual spool as well as by the multiple kits. So Glamour can go through your sewing machine. And Wonderfil has this great information sheet because we are a Wonderfil dealer. And so what it does is it gives you all of the different threads that they produce. Gives you a needle suggestion for a domestic machine as well as a long arm, and we have these in the store. If you would like them with your order, just send us an email and we can put them in with your order when you're ordering product. It's very, very helpful. So what I did here, I'm going to show you my hanky quilt. So this is my hanky quilt. I collect a lot of hankies. And for some reason, I found some that were cut up. So I thought, okay, they're already cut. I'm going to use them on here. And I used machine stitching. So look at these stitches right here. So this is all those decorative stitches that we all say we haven't used on our machine. This is a perfect way of doing it. All right, now this is a 50 weight thread. You can see not a lot of gusto in there. This one is a 12 weight thread. You can see that it makes a much more bold statement. So even within cotton threads, you can get a very different look with your machine stitches. Now, I also have a 770 Bernina, so I was able to widen my stitch width to 9 millimeters. So again, that really, 9 millimeters with a 12 weight thread is going to give you a very bold look. So I really like this. But the threads are information for you to see what the differences are in the weights and how they react. I'll show you something else in a minute. Now, this is not done yet. What we need to add, and which will be the next step, is it needs some beads, needs some sequins. We do have these ribbon packs, which are short ribbons, and we could put some of those in there too. So there's definitely more that needs to happen on this piece. But I was very excited about using the pattern stitches that I wanted you to see that.
So there's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you iron interfacing on the back when you were doing your machine stitching?
So again, these hankies were really, really thin. So if you see, ideally, I think it would have been better if I used the French fuse on them before I sewed them. I didn't. Of course, I'm always looking for shortcuts. So what happened was, when I had my piece assembled, I ironed it. I ironed Misty Fuse to the back of it so it would make all my seams flat. And then I ironed it to a piece of muslin. And then I added batting, which I have to have the spray batting on it because my fabric moves on me sometimes. Then I did my pattern stitches. So I did do some prep work and some stabilizing on top of it. Okay? All right, so there's more to come on this one. And we'll try to keep you updated on Creative Minds and Facebook. But I think one of the things, again, until I became a Wonderful dealer, I didn't realize just how many options and thread weights and materials there are. These are just cottons. We have all kinds of polyester and metallics and rayons that will all give you a difference in your pattern. Some shimmer, some flat, some mercerized, some not. I mean, it's just amazing what the difference is. These were done by Liz Kettle, who wrote a fabulous book about threads. And she had these samples and we got to inherit them. Her website is Textile Evolution, and she is, as far as I'm concerned, the thread goddess. And so this is going to be the spaghetti and fruity. So this is a size 12. Here's machine stitching and here's some hand stitching. I swore I'd never hand stitch with machine thread, but yeah, it's pretty cool when you do it. Now look at this one. This is the 12 weight. Spaghetti and fruity is a 12 weight. This is the 50 weight, which is what we as quilters are normally used to using. 50 weight cotton. But look at your patterns that you can get with that. Really nice. And this is embroidery with a 12 weight. Now you do have to make some adjustments for the number of stitches when you're using a larger thread, but wow, isn't that pretty cool? So embroidery as well. So we have color packs, Violet Craft, confetti, Susan Cleveland also works a lot with 12, so anytime you've taken a class with her. So these are solids, and then we do actually have a pack that is laundry basket, and it has some variegated as well as some solids in there. Oh, there's Susan Cleveland. Bright colors. So, oh yeah. So look at this. This is. We got some options here. These are our fat quarters cottons that were hand dyed in India, and these would make some wonderful quilting with some accents on with your threads. Great solid fabric. Quilt. Yeah, great crazy quilt. Wonderful. Okay. So I think maybe going forward, I'm gonna try and give you some information about the variety of threads that we have. Try to show you some examples. A Wonder Fill Specialty Threads has a fabulous social media part of their program. Lots of videos. We share those on our Facebook page. And so they are very educational, very informative. So we'll definitely post them, and we'll try to talk a little bit more about thread. What do we have coming up for those of you in online and in the area? So we have our third Thursday sale that is coming up at 7 o'clock Thursday evening, the third Thursday of the month. And we have created an event on Facebook, and it's working with hand-dyed indigos. And then we have, let me back up. Coming up next week, Chris and I are working with Kristen Brown to launch her new book. We are participating in a blog hop. This book is available on pre-order on our website, so you can be able to get it. And we have several of her books and love them, and her stencils. So there's lots of great things.
Perfect for crazy quilting.
Yes, absolutely perfect for crazy quilting. So we're participating, Chris and I both are participating in that next week. Then the third Thursday, we have indigo boxes, we have ECAT shawls. There's an event on Facebook. You can see it, it's Artistic Artifacts Facebook. And we will do that. So I've been dyeing indigo this summer. Thank you. And so this is just a preview of what we have in here. So this is all I've done all this dyeing. This piece from Thailand, that's indigo, and all of these. So we have a limited number of boxes that will be available to purchase on our Facebook Live. On September 25th, we have our last yard sale of the season. So if you're in the area and local, for sure check us out then. We will be there from 9 until 1 in the parking lot. And then the store will be open as well. Coming up in October, we have a serger event where you can pay a supply fee and come and sew on Bernina sergers. We're going to have the L460s, L450s, L890 will be available for you to try, as well as the 850 and 860. So there's now 3 top-of-the-line sergers that are pretty awesome. So that event is going to be held in October. I think it's the 13th. Facebook has an event for it as well. And we will have it up and announce it in the newsletter, so you can reserve your seat by paying your supply fee. And again, we'll be limited due to the events of the world and COVID. We will, there'll be definitely limited seating. We'll do a class on Friday and a class on Saturday. Then Creative Quest is launching on the 8th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of the 8th weekend. The Indigenous holiday weekend. We will be doing special events here at Artistic Artifacts on location. We're going to try to work on videoing our demos to bring you guys in from the outside who can't make the trip to see us. So lots of special sales. We're going to have a handmade market. So many of our customers are creatives, and so they do participate in selling their work. So we'll have that here as well. And what we've heard is the shipping situation has not changed. So if you're buying any gifts for anyone else that you're going to need to mail or ship, please don't wait till December, because we are hearing on our side that it is not going to be pretty. So buy early, ship early, and of course, we can always buy ourselves gifts. There's, any time of year it works for that as well. All right, do I have any questions? Did I leave anything out? So much to tell you today. We good?
Yep.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate you and your support, and wish you a very, very creative day. Thank you.